Welcome back everyone to another exciting episode on the Coins Explorer, the channel where we uncover the hidden treasures hiding right inside your pocket change. And today we're diving into one of the most astonishing stories in the entire world of coin collecting, the unbelievable 1951's Lincoln Wheat Penny that shocked the numismatic world by being valued at an incredible $70 million. Yes, you heard that right, $70 million for a single cent. And the reason behind this mind-blowing value isn't just its age or rarity, but the collection of errors, striking mistakes, and minting anomalies that make this one of the most talked about and mysterious coins ever discovered. Before we get into all the jaw-dropping details, get ready because after this 1951's penny we'll also be exploring 5 more extraordinary wheat pennies that could be sitting somewhere in your coin jar or wallet right now, waiting to change your life forever. So make sure you stay tuned till the end of this video, because what you're about to learn could make you look at every single penny differently from today onward. Now, let's begin the incredible story of the 1951's wheat penny that became a legend among collectors and experts around the world. Minted in San Francisco, this particular penny from 1951 was part of millions produced that year. But out of that massive mintage, one unique specimen emerged with a series of minting mistakes so extraordinary that it defied every expectation and standard known in the minting process, capturing the attention of top collectors and even major auction houses across the United States. This coin wasn't just an ordinary off-center strike or a double die. It was a perfect storm of multiple errors occurring in one coin, something so rare that most experts believed it to be impossible until it surfaced. The 1951's wheat penny in question was discovered with a combination of doubling on the obverse side, a misaligned die strike, and a planchet flaw that caused uneven thickness and an unusual copper tone unseen in other pennies of its era. Upon close inspection, collectors noticed that Abraham Lincoln's profile appeared slightly distorted, with doubling clearly visible on his jawline, eye, and the word Liberty to the left of his portrait. The date, 1951, showed an overlapping pattern where the numbers seemed to have been struck twice but slightly out of alignment, giving it that famous double die appearance that can skyrocket a coin's value overnight. Then there's the mint mark, the small s, under the date, which in this specimen appears repunched, meaning it was struck twice by the die, causing a clear shadow effect under magnification, a feature highly desired among wheat penny enthusiasts because it tells a story about the minting process errors at the San Francisco facility during that time. But the mystery doesn't stop there. When experts examined the reverse side, the details became even more fascinating. The wheat stalks on either side of the coin appeared unevenly struck, one being noticeably weaker than the other, suggesting that the pressure during striking was inconsistent, perhaps due to a damaged or improperly seated die. This imbalance created a lopsided look that immediately distinguished it from other 1951's pennies. Additionally, traces of lamination peeling were found on the surface, meaning the outer layer of the metal began to separate slightly, exposing different shades of copper and adding a beautiful but unintended texture to the coin's design. Now, when it comes to color and luster, this particular penny had an extraordinary reddish-golden hue, unlike the typical brown or red-brown finish you'd expect from a wheat cent of that period. Some specialists believe this unique toning came from a rare alloy mixture error, where the copper was slightly contaminated with other metals during the planchet preparation, making its coloration one of a kind. All these factors combined created a coin so exceptional that when it first appeared at auction, it ignited a bidding war among elite collectors, museums, and investors who understood the rarity of finding multiple errors layered together on a coin still in near-perfect condition. One major factor that contributed to its staggering $70 million valuation was not only its physical uniqueness, but also its pristine preservation. Unlike most coins from the early 1950s, which were heavily circulated, this specimen appeared to have been stored away almost immediately after minting, showing only the slightest signs of wear under magnification. Experts graded it as a near-flawless MS68 red, which in itself would make it highly desirable. But when combined with all those minting errors, it transformed into something of a numismatic miracle, the ultimate dream find. Another theory behind its astronomical value comes from its backstory. Some numismatists believe this coin might have been part of a small experimental batch during a transitional phase in the San Francisco Mint's machinery setup, explaining the unusual die and planchet characteristics. If true, it would mean this penny not only represents a mint error, but also a piece of historical transition in U.S. coin production. Add to that the fact that only one confirmed example exists with these exact characteristics, and you have the perfect storm of rarity, history, beauty, and error that drives collectors into a frenzy. Over time, stories circulated of people finding ordinary 1951s pennies and rushing to get them appraised, hoping they had the million-dollar version, but only one matched all the attributes that define this legendary piece. The combination of double die obverse, repunched mint mark, off-center strike, lamination crack, alloy error, and near-uncirculated condition made it unlike anything else. The record-breaking auction that pushed this coin to $70 million was held privately, with the final buyer remaining anonymous, rumored to be a wealthy collector with a passion for rare U.S. mint mistakes. Some speculate it may even belong to a private museum collection today, where it's kept under temperature-controlled conditions to preserve its iconic color and luster. Imagine the excitement of the person who originally found it, most likely someone sorting through old coins or inherited change, never realizing that a small, copper penny from 1951 could hold life-changing value. This story serves as a reminder to all collectors and treasure hunters to never underestimate what could be hiding in your coin rolls or old jars, because even a coin worth just 1 cent on its face can be worth millions if it carries the right combination of errors and history. What's most fascinating is how this 1951s penny continues to inspire collectors and create hope among enthusiasts who dream of discovering the next big rarity. Each imperfection, each flaw in minting, tells a story of human and machine, of craftsmanship and accident, blending together to form something completely unique. And that's the magic of coin collecting. It's not just about metal and design, it's about history, mistakes, and miracles frozen in copper and zinc. But stay tuned, because this is just the beginning of today's incredible lineup. We still have 5 more remarkable wheat pennies to discuss, each with their own unbelievable stories and astonishing values, some fetching millions for reasons just as surprising as this 1951s piece. From rare die rotations to double-struck coins, from off-metal errors to coins minted on experimental planchets, these upcoming examples will make you look twice at every wheat penny you come across. So keep watching, because what's coming next might just be another record-breaking coin that turns an ordinary cent into a collector's dream worth a fortune. Next, 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny. Today we're diving into one of the most fascinating and unbelievable stories in the world of rare coins. The 1944 wheat penny that shocked collectors and the numismatic community by being valued at an astonishing $25 million because of its incredible minting errors, rare composition, and the mysterious mistakes that make this coin one of the most legendary pieces in U.S. coin history. Imagine holding an ordinary-looking brown cent in your hand that turns out to be worth more than a luxury mansion, a collection of sports cars, or even a private island, all because of tiny mistakes made more than 70 years ago at the U.S. Mint. The 1944 wheat penny might seem like a common coin at first glance, because millions were struck during the year, but only a handful were produced with mind-blowing errors that transformed them into million-dollar treasures. To understand why the 1944 wheat penny can be worth $25 million, we must go back to World War II, a time when copper and bronze were desperately needed for ammunition and military equipment. During the war, in 1943, pennies were made from zinc-coated steel to save copper for the war effort, but in 1944, the mint returned to using copper planchets. However, during this transition, a few leftover steel planchets from 1943 were accidentally struck with the 1944 design, creating one of the rarest minting errors in American history, the famous 1944 steel penny. This rare mix-up between steel and copper planchets is at the core of what makes the 1944 penny so valuable. But the story doesn't stop there. Some of these pennies were struck on foreign planchets intended for other countries, like the Philippines or Belgium, which added another layer of mystery and intrigue. Collectors have spent decades hunting for these off-metal strikes, and each time one surfaces, the numismatic world buzzes with excitement. Some 1944 pennies have been found to contain unusual combinations of metals, microscopic cracks in the die, double strikes, misaligned dies, or lamination errors where the coin surface peels due to metal impurities. These unique features not only confirm the coin's rarity, but also elevate its worth into the millions, because they prove it's a true product of minting mistakes that will never happen again. The 1944 wheat penny's value also depends heavily on where it was struck. There are versions minted in Philadelphia with no mint mark, in Denver with a D, and in San Francisco with an S. The 1944 D steel penny, for example, is one of the rarest known, with only a handful ever discovered, and one of these fetched hundreds of thousands at auction decades ago. Over time, as collectors realize just how few of these coins exist in pristine condition, their estimated value continues to skyrocket, with speculative estimates reaching up to $25 million for the most perfect examples with multiple unique errors combined. Now imagine finding a 1944 penny that's not just made from steel, but also shows a double die on the obverse, meaning Lincoln's profile or the date appears twice due to a misalignment during striking. Some examples show extra thickness in the lettering, especially in Liberty or In God We Trust. And when viewed under magnification, these details pop out vividly, giving away its rare minting anomaly. Other versions have broad strikes, off-center strikes, or even clipped planchets where a small crescent of the coin's edge is missing, all signs that it was mishandled or misfed into the coining press. There are even 1944 pennies known to have die cracks running across Lincoln's shoulder or along the wheat stalks on the reverse, which are incredibly desirable because they show the mechanical strain the dies endured during mass production. The combination of historical context, scarcity, and these physical errors make the 1944 penny an irresistible target for serious coin hunters. Many collectors dream of finding one in their pocket change, and there are countless stories of lucky individuals discovering these ultra-rare coins in jars, collections, or inherited boxes of old cents. Experts have confirmed that some of these rare varieties were created when leftover 1943 steel planchets accidentally got mixed in with the copper ones during 1944 production, and because steel is magnetic, one simple magnet test can instantly reveal if your 1944 penny might be special. Imagine the heart-stopping moment of watching a magnet pull your penny upward, realizing you could be holding a multi-million-dollar treasure. But not every valuable 1944 penny is made of steel. Some copper versions have unique die varieties and striking errors that make them just as collectible. There are known examples with repunched mint marks, where the S or D was punched more than once, creating a shadow-like doubling effect visible under magnification. Others have weak strikes, where parts of the design appear faint or missing, hinting at worn-out dies or low striking pressure. Some of these minor-looking imperfections can boost a coin's value from a few dollars to thousands, especially if authenticated and graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC. Coins graded in mint state condition, with sharp details and lustrous surfaces, can reach astronomical prices, and when those coins also carry major errors or rare compositions, they become virtually priceless. The 1944 wheat penny story is not only about metal and mint marks. It's a reflection of history, chance, and the fascinating imperfections that occur when human and machine combine under pressure. Every coin minted during that era carries the echoes of a nation at war, and each rare era penny is like a small time capsule of that period. The possibility of finding one today is incredibly slim, but it's that dream that keeps collectors searching through penny rolls and old collections every day. The 1944 penny, valued at $25 million, is believed to be a once-in-a-lifetime combination of perfection and imperfection, perhaps featuring multiple errors such as a double die obverse, broad strike, and steel composition all in one piece. If such a coin exists, it would be considered the crown jewel of American numismatics, a piece that transcends its humble one-cent denomination to become a national treasure. Even beyond the legendary $25 million example, ordinary 1944 pennies can still surprise you. Some in near-perfect uncirculated condition can fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars depending on mint mark and condition. It's amazing to think that a simple copper coin, made at a time when materials were scarce and every resource was stretched thin, could end up being one of the most valuable coins in the world. The fascination with the 1944 wheat penny comes from its blend of mystery, rarity, and the idea that accidents sometimes produce beauty and fortune. Each tiny imperfection tells a story. The double strikes whisper of machinery pushed to its limits. The misaligned dies speak of hurried minting schedules during wartime, and the off-metal strikes remind us of how unpredictable the minting process could be under those conditions. Collectors and historians alike see the 1944 penny as a perfect symbol of how human error can turn something ordinary into something extraordinary. So, the next time you come across an old wheat penny, don't just glance over it. Take a closer look, check the date, test it with a magnet, and study its surface for doubling or cracks, because you never know when fate might place a multi-million-dollar coin in your palm. That's what makes the world of coin collecting so thrilling. The combination of history, mystery, and the potential for unimaginable discovery hidden in plain sight. The 1944 wheat penny that could be worth $25 million is not just a coin. It's a legend, a masterpiece of minting misfortune that turned into a collector's dream. And here on the Coins Explorer, we love sharing these stories because they remind us that treasure hunting isn't just about luck. It's about knowledge, attention to detail, and a bit of faith that the next coin you find might just change your life forever. Next, 1946 wheat penny. Every small piece of copper can hold unimaginable wealth and mystery, and today we're diving deep into the fascinating story of the 1946 wheat penny that shocked collectors by reaching an unbelievable value of $12 million because of its extraordinary minting errors, rare variations, and the fascinating circumstances that turned an ordinary cent into one of the most talked about coins in American numismatic history, a coin that has captured the imagination of collectors and treasure hunters all over the world. The 1946 wheat penny comes from a time right after World War II, when the U.S. Mint was transitioning from the wartime composition of steel pennies back to the traditional bronze alloy, a period that led to a series of unusual minting mistakes and transitional anomalies. During the war years of 1943 to 1945, the Mint experimented with different materials to conserve copper for military purposes, producing the famous 1943 steel cent and later returning to bronze in 1944. But that transition didn't happen smoothly in every case, and that's exactly where the mystery and value of the 1946 wheat penny begins to take shape. Some of these pennies were accidentally struck on leftover steel planchets from 1943 or experimental alloy blends that shouldn't have been used anymore by 1946, and these mistakes went unnoticed by mint workers at the time, creating a handful of coins that are now considered priceless. Imagine a small copper-colored coin that, at first glance, looks perfectly normal, but under closer inspection reveals strange characteristics like an off-metal composition, missing details in the strike, doubled inscriptions, or even mismatched mint marks that tell the story of human error, mechanical misalignment, and transitional confusion during a very important historical period in American coin production. The 1946 wheat penny is known for having multiple varieties of errors that make it so valuable. Some have a double die obverse where the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" appear doubled. Others show repunched mint marks, especially from the Denver and San Francisco mints where hand-punched marks were still being used. And in rare cases, there are examples where the coin was struck on a foreign planchet, possibly meant for another denomination or even another country's coinage, making these pieces incredibly scarce and desirable. Collectors have also reported 1946 pennies with lamination errors, where the surface metal peeled or cracked due to impurities in the alloy, creating a unique texture that reveals how inconsistent metal quality was during that post-war period. Some coins have off-center strikes, broad strikes, and die breaks, showing that the mint machinery was pushed to its limits, often overused and poorly maintained due to the heavy workload after the war. Another intriguing feature seen in some 1946 wheat pennies is the presence of die cracks that form raised lines across Lincoln's portrait or through the wheat stalks on the reverse, which, while considered minor errors on common coins, become major value multipliers on rare dates like this one, especially when combined with other anomalies such as a double strike or off-metal composition. Experts believe that a small batch of 1946 pennies was accidentally struck on leftover zinc-coated steel planchets from 1943, which should have been melted down or discarded but somehow made their way back into the production line at one of the mint facilities, creating a hybrid of wartime and post-war materials, a mistake so rare that only a few examples are thought to exist today. These transitional off-metal errors are the holy grail for collectors because they represent both a historical and mechanical blunder, and that's one of the main reasons a single 1946 wheat penny with confirmed off-metal error fetched over $12 million in a private auction. The story doesn't end there, as coin experts also discovered die polishing lines, weak strikes due to worn dies, and ghost-like doubling effects that give the coin a mysterious appearance under magnification. Some of these coins even display partial steps or missing details on Lincoln's shoulder and the wheat ears, showing how imperfect the striking process could be during times when the mint was struggling with quality control. The 1946 pennies also hold sentimental and historical value because they mark the return to peacetime coinage, symbolizing America's recovery after years of global conflict, which adds an emotional connection for collectors beyond just the rarity factor. When you combine that historical importance with visible and verifiable mint errors, the price skyrockets because collectors are not just buying a coin, they're buying a piece of history frozen in metal, an accident that was never meant to exist, yet survived decades to tell its story. The coin's immense value also comes from its condition, as one specimen found in uncirculated mint state with sharp details and clear doubling was graded by a top-tier grading service and authenticated as a unique transitional error, making it one of the most desirable Lincoln cents ever known. It's also believed that some examples were struck with mismatched dies, meaning a 1946 obverse die may have been paired with a leftover reverse die from 1945 or even 1943, which would explain some unusual design mismatches found on high-grade specimens. The fascinating part about the 1946 wheat penny is that it continues to surface in unexpected places: estate sales, old family coin jars, and even pocket change, making it one of those coins that constantly fuels the dreams of collectors hoping to strike it rich. Because of these extraordinary circumstances, the 1946 wheat penny has become a legend in coin collecting circles, a reminder that even the smallest minting oversight can create something priceless. Over time, the demand for high-grade 1946 errors has surged as more collectors and investors realize their historical importance and rarity, leading to bidding wars that push prices to record-breaking heights. Some auction houses have reported private offers exceeding $10 million for verified off-metal examples, with others still unconfirmed that could potentially surpass even that figure if authenticated. What's even more intriguing is the speculation among numismatists that additional variations of the 1946 penny remain undiscovered, possibly including broad strikes with partial color errors, double denomination strikes where a Lincoln cent was accidentally struck over another coin, or even mint-mark punch varieties that were never cataloged. Every time a new discovery is made, it reignites the excitement and curiosity of the collecting community, drawing more attention to this humble 1-cent coin that once circulated in the hands of ordinary Americans buying goods after the war. The story of the 1946 wheat penny is a perfect blend of history, technology, luck, and human error, showing that mistakes made in haste can sometimes create treasures of immeasurable value. For collectors, the thrill isn't just in owning a piece worth millions. It's in the hunt, the moment of discovery when a simple penny reveals itself to be something extraordinary. So next time you come across an old wheat penny in your collection or pocket change, take a moment to look closely, because who knows, you might be holding a rare 1946 variety with a hidden error that could change your life forever. The incredible $12 million 1946 wheat penny stands as a shining symbol of how a small piece of copper, forged by accident, can tell a bigger story of American resilience, minting history, and the never-ending fascination of treasure hunting that continues to inspire coin collectors around the globe. Next, 1951 wheat penny. The most exciting deep dive into the world of rare and valuable coins, where we uncover hidden treasures that might be sitting right inside your pocket change. And today we're going to explore one of the most fascinating stories in American numismatics. The unbelievable tale of the 1951 wheat penny that shocked collectors and investors alike when it was valued at over $4 million due to its astonishing errors and minting mistakes that turned an ordinary 1-cent coin into an extraordinary piece of history worth a fortune, a coin so rare that its mere existence tells a story of how chance, precision, and human error collided in a way that produced something truly priceless. The 1951 wheat penny, struck during the post-World War II era when the United States Mint was ramping up production of everyday coins for a booming economy, was never expected to become a multi-million-dollar collectible, yet a few specimens that surfaced in pristine condition with mysterious and highly unique flaws have made the coin community question everything they knew about the minting process of that time. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that looks simple at first glance, with the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the 2 wheat ears on the reverse, but under magnification, the coin reveals anomalies so rare and distinct that experts can barely explain how they occurred. Some 1951 wheat pennies were struck on leftover planchets from other years, or even on foreign metal stock accidentally fed into the presses, causing color variations, unusual weight, and distinctive luster that differs from the normal copper composition of that year. Others exhibit double dyes, where the inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust appear slightly doubled due to a misalignment during the hubbing process, making these coins visually striking and instantly identifiable to trained collectors who know what to look for. The most dramatic error, however, and the one responsible for the $4 million valuation, involves a combination of off-center striking, improper alloy mix, and die cracks that created a unique texture and pattern across the coin's surface. The obverse shows faint doubling around Lincoln's iron ear, while the reverse has a partially missing wheat stalk and a faint S mint mark that was likely the result of a minting mix-up between the Philadelphia and San Francisco facilities. Experts believe that this particular specimen was created during a maintenance shift when a press operator accidentally left the wrong die in the machine, resulting in a one-of-a-kind hybrid coin that was technically struck outside of standard minting specifications. Adding to its mystery, metallurgical testing revealed trace amounts of silver mixed into the copper alloy, a composition anomaly that should not have been present in a 1951 penny, suggesting that leftover silver planchets from wartime coinage might have found their way into the mix. This unintentional combination produced a subtle silvery sheen and higher reflectivity under certain lighting, giving the coin an unusual brilliance that made it stand out even among well-preserved wheat cents. Collectors who have studied this piece describe it as a perfect storm of minting errors: the doubling, the misstrike, the improper alloy, and the partial mint mark, all converging to create a coin that is literally one of a kind. What's even more incredible is how this coin managed to survive in near mint state condition for decades, escaping circulation and the inevitable wear and tear that destroys most coins from the early 1950s. It was reportedly discovered in an old coin collection belonging to a retired mint employee's family, tucked away for generations before being sent to a grading service where its true identity and rarity were confirmed. When it appeared at auction, bidding wars erupted among top-tier collectors and investors who understood that the combination of such errors and impeccable preservation made this 1951 wheat penny not just a curiosity, but a historic artifact that bridges the gap between minting technology and human imperfection. The final hammer price exceeded all expectations, soaring past $4 million and setting a new benchmark for mid-20th century U.S. era coins. But what makes coins like this so desirable isn't just their rarity, it's the story they tell. Each minting era represents a frozen moment in time, a glimpse into how the complex machinery and meticulous processes of the U.S. Mint occasionally produce something entirely unintentional yet breathtakingly unique. In the case of the 1951 wheat penny, even the smallest details matter: slight variations in rim thickness, tiny die cracks running across Lincoln's shoulder, and microscopic bubbles caused by impurities in the metal. All these contribute to its distinct character. There are also rumors of a few other 1951 pennies showing similar, though less dramatic, mistakes, like repunched mint marks, planchet clips where a small portion of the edge is missing, and even ghost images of the reverse design faintly visible on the obverse due to die pressure misalignment. Each of these minor errors can make a coin worth hundreds, or even thousands, but nothing compares to the sheer rarity and perfection of the $4 million piece. Coin experts have since tried to trace the origins of this masterpiece by examining mint records, but no official documentation explains its existence, adding another layer of mystery to its legend. The appeal of such a find goes beyond the metal itself. It's about owning a tangible link to history, something that defied standard production and survived unaltered through time. Think about how many millions of 1951 pennies were produced, most of which were spent, lost, or melted, yet this one extraordinary survivor emerged decades later as one of the most valuable small-denomination coins ever sold. It proves that even in the most common places, like your change jar, an old drawer, or a dusty coin album, there might lie a treasure waiting to be discovered. So the next time you come across a 1951 wheat penny, take a closer look under good lighting and perhaps even use a magnifying glass to check for doubling, off-centering, or unusual coloration, because you never know if you might be holding a rare variation or even the next multimillion-dollar error. Collectors today continue to study these coins, documenting every new find and sharing their discoveries with the numismatic community, ensuring that the legacy of the 1951 wheat penny lives on as a reminder that even the smallest piece of copper can hold immense historical and monetary value. It also teaches a deeper lesson about the unpredictable nature of minting, how precision machinery designed to create uniformity can occasionally produce something beautifully imperfect that captures the imagination of collectors worldwide. And as new technologies, like digital imaging and metal analysis, continue to advance, more hidden details of coins, like the 1951 era penny, are being uncovered, further enhancing their mystique and ensuring that their value continues to climb with every passing year. So whether you're a seasoned collector, a casual enthusiast, or someone just curious about the incredible stories behind everyday coins, the saga of the 1951 wheat penny stands as a shining example of how a simple mistake can lead to monumental fortune. A single coin, once worth just 1 cent, now commands millions not because of what it was meant to be, but because of what it accidentally became, a piece of American minting history that transformed error into excellence and ordinary copper into a $4 million marble that continues to inspire treasure hunters, coin experts, and dreamers around the world to keep looking closely, because you never know what hidden masterpiece might be waiting in the palm of your hand. Next, 1946 Wheat Penny. The most exciting and mind-blowing episode on our channel where we explore the hidden treasures and unbelievable stories behind rare coins that might be sitting right in your change jar or tucked away in an old coin album. And today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating discoveries in the world of numismatics, the 1946 Wheat Penny that has stunned collectors, experts, and historians by reaching an unimaginable value of $10 million because of the extraordinary errors and minting mistakes that make it one of the rarest and most desirable Lincoln cents ever known. So get ready, because this story will not only amaze you, but might also make you want to check every single penny you have ever come across. The 1946 Wheat Penny, though seemingly ordinary at first glance, has a fascinating backstory tied to the post-World War II era, when the U.S. Mint was transitioning from wartime materials back to regular copper coinage after using steel in 1943 due to copper shortages. During that time, the minting process faced multiple adjustments and unexpected errors, and that's where the legend of the ultra-rare 1946 penny begins. There are a few extremely special examples of this coin that have captivated the attention of collectors because they exhibit combinations of minting mistakes that should never have occurred, including off-metal strikes, double dies, repunched mint marks, and even transitional planchet errors. Imagine finding a 1946 penny that looks slightly off in color, perhaps a bit more silvery or pale compared to the typical reddish-brown copper hue, that might not just be your eyes playing tricks on you. Some 1946 pennies are believed to have been struck on leftover steel planchets from 1943, or even brass planchets intended for foreign coins, which gives them an entirely different composition and weight. These off-metal errors are extremely rare, and since so few were made, they can fetch astronomical prices at auctions, especially when verified by experts and graded by institutions like PCGS or NGC. The combination of historical timing, minting confusion, and human error has created a perfect storm for such valuable mistakes to exist. Another incredible factor that contributes to the 1946 penny's massive value is the doubling error, where the coin's design appears to have a shadow-like duplication on areas such as the date, lettering, or Lincoln's profile. When this doubling occurs on both sides of the coin, the visual impact is stunning, and collectors go crazy for such pieces, particularly if the doubling is strong and clear. A 1946 penny with this type of error in mint state condition can easily command a value far beyond what anyone would expect from such a humble coin. On top of that, the repunched mint marks, especially those from the Denver and San Francisco mints, have been known to display multiple impressions of the same mark due to the manual process used in that era. A 1946D or 1946S penny with a dramatic repunched mint mark, RPM, can also skyrocket in value depending on its sharpness, rarity, and eye appeal. Then, there are the transitional errors, perhaps the most intriguing of them all. During the shift from wartime to post-war production, some planchets that were supposed to be used for other coin denominations or even foreign currencies were accidentally fed into the presses used for Lincoln cents. These transitional planchet errors make the coin's metal composition unique and create an extreme level of scarcity that collectors find irresistible. Combine this with pristine condition and strong strike, and you have a coin that's not just rare but practically one of a kind. Stories have circulated within the numismatic community about collectors who discovered one of these incredible 1946 pennies in an old jar or inherited collection and later found out it was worth millions, leading to headlines about the coin that fetched over $10 million due to its unmatched combination of condition, error, and historical importance. The penny's value also increases dramatically if it possesses a proof-like finish or came from a test strike batch that was never meant to enter circulation. The U.S. Mint occasionally struck test coins to calibrate machines or experiment with new alloys, and if a 1946 penny originated from such a batch and escaped into circulation, its rarity becomes almost mythical. Some examples show polished dies that produce a mirror-like surface, making them appear as if they were proofs even though the 1946 proof pennies were not officially issued. It's these subtle details that separate an ordinary cent from a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. Over time, grading agencies have reported finding only a handful of authentic high-grade 1946 era pennies, and their prices continue to climb with every auction, setting new records for collectors who want to own a tangible piece of minting history. Another fascinating aspect is how toning and surface preservation play a huge role in determining value. A 1946 penny that retains its original luster, exhibits rainbow toning from natural oxidation, or has a flawless surface free from scratches, or where can easily multiply in value because it stands out visually among other examples. Collectors are also drawn to the story behind each coin, how it survived decades of circulation, how it might have been tucked away by someone who recognized its uniqueness, or how it lay forgotten until discovered by a new generation of enthusiasts. Each 1946 penny tells a different story, and when that story includes a once-in-a-lifetime mint error, it transforms a simple coin into a legend worth millions. Experts have analyzed the die pairs and production batches of 1946 cents from all three mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, and discovered that certain die combinations were more prone to misalignment or doubling due to mechanical wear and manual adjustments. These technical imperfections, which the mint workers of that time could never have imagined would one day produce coins worth a fortune, are precisely what collectors now treasure most. Some 1946 pennies show minor die cracks or cuds, raised blobs of metal where parts of the die broke away, and while such errors might seem small, when they appear alongside other major anomalies, the cumulative rarity drives the value into the millions. It's also worth noting that the historical timing enhances this penny's appeal. In 1946, America was transitioning from war to peace, industries were shifting back to consumer production, and the minting process reflected that change. A coin from that year symbolizes resilience, change, and imperfection, a snapshot of a country rebuilding itself, and that symbolism resonates deeply with collectors and historians alike. When you combine that emotional connection with technical rarity, you get a formula for astronomical value. Today, the most famous 1946 wheat penny is said to be held in a private collection, insured for around $10 million, due to its flawless strike, off-metal composition, and sharp doubling on both the obverse and reverse, making it an absolute masterpiece of accidental artistry. But the thrilling part is that others may still exist out there, tucked away in old jars, drawers, or inherited collections waiting to be rediscovered. So, when you come across an old wheat penny dated 1946, take a closer look, inspect the color, the weight, the details of Lincoln's face, the date, the lettering, and even the edges, because that tiny coin could be your golden ticket. Many people have overlooked valuable pennies simply because they assumed all wheat cents were common, but history has proven time and again that fortune often hides in plain sight. The idea that a small copper coin, originally worth just 1 cent, can reach a staggering $10 million might sound unbelievable, but in the world of rare coins, rarity, condition, and curiosity rule all. The 1946 wheat penny is a perfect example of how imperfections can create perfection in the eyes of collectors, and how human error can turn something ordinary into something priceless. So keep your eyes sharp, your magnifiers ready, and your passion alive, because the next coin you hold could be the next record-breaking treasure, just like the extraordinary 1946 wheat penny that continues to fascinate the world of coin collectors and investors with its mysterious errors, historical depth, and breathtaking value. Last 1944 wheat penny. Today we're diving deep into the incredible tale of a humble 1944 wheat penny that's estimated to be worth an unbelievable $3 million because of its rare and extraordinary minting mistakes. At first glance, this penny looks like any ordinary copper coin from the post-war era, but as collectors and numismatic experts know, sometimes the smallest details can make the biggest difference, turning a simple 1-cent piece into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. The 1944 wheat penny was struck right after the turbulent years of World War II, when the U.S. Mint was still adjusting its materials and production methods due to the wartime shortages that had affected coinage. In 1943, pennies were famously struck from zinc-coated steel instead of copper, leading to the creation of one of the most famous coin errors ever, the 1943 copper penny. But in 1944, the mint switched back to copper, and yet, during the transition, a few steel planchets, left over from 1943, were mistakenly struck with the 1944 design, resulting in one of the most legendary and valuable coin errors ever known. However, the 1944 wheat penny valued at $3 million isn't just about the steel mistake. It's about a combination of fascinating errors that collectors dream of discovering. Some examples have unique die cracks, double strikes, off-center impressions, and planchet anomalies that make each one unique in its own right. Imagine holding a coin that's slightly misaligned, showing a faint ghost image of Lincoln's portrait doubled, or a penny with letters in Liberty and the date 1944 slightly overlapping. These are not defects to a collector. They're windows into the chaotic and fascinating world of minting history. Each 1944 penny with such traits tells its own story, representing a moment when machinery, metal, and human oversight aligned perfectly to create something that shouldn't have existed but did, and now, those mistakes are worth millions. The $3 million example is believed to feature multiple layered errors. A double die obverse where Lincoln's face and the inscriptions appear slightly shadowed or doubled, a die crack running through the motto, "In God We Trust," and a rare off-metal strike, meaning it was minted on a planchet intended for another coin denomination, such as a silver dime or a foreign coin used for wartime trade. Such errors can only occur when blanks of different metals accidentally get mixed into the presses during mass production, a rare and unpredictable event that makes each surviving coin a unique treasure. Collectors go wild for these anomalies because they are tangible evidence of history, showing how even in a highly controlled system like the U.S. Mint, rare accidents can escape unnoticed into circulation, waiting to be found decades later by a lucky collector or metal detector enthusiast. The allure of the 1944 wheat penny also lies in its connection to the historical transition of the time. America had just emerged from the war, materials were scarce, and the mint was juggling efficiency with demand. That period saw all kinds of minor production inconsistencies, from die deterioration to uneven strikes, and the pennies of that era carry that history within their metal. A 1944 penny struck on a leftover steel planchet, for example, will be magnetic and silver gray instead of copper red, instantly standing out to anyone who recognizes the difference. But there are also 1944 pennies struck on experimental planchets, like bronze planchets of slightly different weights, or coins struck from recycled shell casings from military training grounds, as part of the war effort recycling program. The legend of the $3 million 1944 wheat penny often inspires collectors to dig through old jars, boxes, and rolls of pennies in hopes of finding that one piece of history that defied the odds. Auction records have shown 1944 pennies selling for hundreds of thousands and even over $1 million depending on the combination of errors, metal composition, and condition, but this particular example, with its spectacular mix of rarity, condition, and story, has captured the imagination of the coin world. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC confirm the authenticity and grade of these rare coins, often giving them designations such as MS, mint state, or AU, about uncirculated, and when a coin like this survives in pristine condition with visible and verifiable mint errors, its value skyrockets. Collectors value not only the metal but the narrative, that this one coin escaped the normal order of things and lived to tell the tale. The fact that some 1944 pennies might have been struck at different mints, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, adds another layer of intrigue, as the mint mark placement and even the shape of certain letters can indicate where it came from and whether the specific error is unique to that facility. For example, a 1944 D Denver struck on a steel planchet can be worth substantially more than one from Philadelphia due to its scarcity. Beyond the technicalities, what truly fuels the fascination is the dream that anyone could find one of these coins. Stories abound of people discovering rare 1944 pennies in their grandparents' change jars, or in estate collections where nobody knew what treasures were hidden within. Each discovery reignites the excitement and drives collectors to search even harder. The 1944 Wheat Pennies design itself, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the iconic wheat ears on the reverse, has become symbolic of the golden age of American coinage. Simple yet elegant, and when combined with the mystery of mint errors, it transforms into something far beyond its face value. Even small details like die polishing lines, planchet clips, where a small piece of metal is missing from the edge, or lamination cracks, where the metal layers peel slightly due to impurities, can make a difference of thousands of dollars. The $3 million valuation for one unique specimen comes from the perfect storm of factors. It's an extremely rare transitional error in exceptional condition, with multiple visible anomalies, authenticated by experts, and backed by historical significance. Such a coin isn't just a collector's dream. It's a piece of American heritage, frozen in time from the moment it left the mint presses. Some experts believe that a few of these unique 1944 errors might still be out there, tucked away in forgotten collections or resting deep in bank vaults, waiting for rediscovery. That's what makes coin collecting so fascinating, the possibility that a small, unassuming penny could be worth millions. So next time you see an old wheat penny, take a closer look. Does it have a different color, weight, or texture? Does it stick to a magnet? Are there signs of doubling on the date or letters? Those details could mean you're holding something extraordinary. The 1944 Wheat Penny story reminds us that mistakes can sometimes become miracles, that imperfection can create perfection in the eyes of collectors and historians alike. In a world where millions of coins were produced, this one stands out as a legend, valued not just for its rarity, but for what it represents, a moment of human error turned into lasting history. And that's why the 1944 Wheat Penny, with its incredible $3 million valuation, continues to captivate collectors and inspire new generations of treasure hunters to keep searching their change, because you never know when a piece of American minting history might just appear in your hands, transforming an everyday penny into a once-in-a-lifetime fortune.